Bonjour classe, bienvenue à notre vidéo pour français en leçon 1C. Comment ça va? On commence? Bonjour mes amis, comment ça va? Bonjour mes amis, comment ça va? Ça va bien, ça va mal, ça va comme ci, comme ça. Bonjour mes amis, comment ça va? Et comment ça va mes amis? I feel like we already know this a little bit from our previous discussions in class. Whenever you join our meetings in class, I greet you. I say bonjour, you say bonjour, and then I usually follow up with this question. Comment ça va? Well, now it's time to learn all the different ways to answer this question. Comment ça va means how is it going? How are you doing? How are you feeling? So you can see we've got a couple faces up here and they correlate directly to the song that I was just singing. Comment ça va? How's it going? How are you doing? You could say ça va bien. It's going well. You could say ça va très bien. And I'll point out to you, très bien has an accent grave. We've learned that already as well. You could say, if things aren't going so well, ça va mal. Mal means it's going badly. Or you could even say, ça va très mal, very badly. Or maybe you're just kind of meh. You're just kind of in the middle. For that, you can say, ça va comme ci, comme ça. Ça va comme ci, comme ça. And this little phrase, also I want to point out to you, comme ci, comme ça, the little circumflex, this little phrase just means, like this, like that. It's going okay, but not great. Comme ci, comme ça. Très bien. Another thing I want you to notice is that when someone asks ça va, you can just answer ça va. The question ça va means how's it going? And if you just say, oh, ça va, that means it's going. So ça va means it's okay. It's maybe not quite as comme ci, comme ça. It's just like, yeah, things are decent. Ça va. You can have an entire conversation in French just with this phrase. Ça va, ça va, ça va, ça va. There, you've just had an exchange with someone completely in French. Another expression, one of my favorites from this lesson, is this one. It goes over here with ça va mal, and it's when things are just not great, and you say zut, zut. It's kind of satisfying to say if you're in a bad mood. Zut is like saying darn it, dang it, ugh, zut. Now, I will admit, a few years ago, we had a French exchange student who was here at Heritage High School, and she mentioned that zoot is a little old-fashioned. She says, my grandma says zoot. So I asked her, what do you say? And this is what she told me. Kids her age, this was just a couple of years ago, are more likely to say flute, which to me sounds even more old-fashioned than zoot. But try it, flute, zoot. Both of them are like, darn it. Of course, she also admitted to me that she and her friends were more likely to swear. We're not going to get to that in this video. That's how you talk about how you're feeling. If you're following along in your textbook, this is on page 24, and that's where you can find all of these phrases with the varying expressions. Now, class, we've got some new numbers this time, but I want to go back and review all of our numbers from last week because I think we could use some more practice. The more we practice and repeat these numbers, the better we'll be. And numbers are so useful because you use them to talk about what time it is, how old you are, how many things you have, how much money you have, the date, etc., etc. Numbers are super important. So let's begin with right here, zero. And I'm afraid my little face is going to cover up zero in just a second. So remember that that's there. But for the rest of them, follow along. Zero. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, this first group, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they have their own particular personalities. Right, is just It's the shortest one. It's the smallest number after 0. 2 starts with a D, and you'll notice when you get down here to 12, 12 starts with a D. 3, TR, starts with a T, just like in English, 3 starts with a T, but this pattern of the 3 gets carried over to 13, TR. So 3 and 13. Look for those patterns. It'll really help you to remember the numbers. 4, remember last time we talked about how this is pronounced like meow, cat, because quatre just sounds like that. It means 4. And if you look at it closely, you see the QU, like a quarter, is a fourth of a dollar or a fourth of a whole. Quarter, cat en français. And that carries over down here. 14, 14, 4 and 14. Then we get into 5 and 15. Those aren't exactly alike, but maybe you can find some things like this. IN is a pattern that exists between 5 and 15. 6 and 16. Okay, some things there. And then we start doing a little bit of math because you're taking 10 plus 7, 17. That's how they say 17, literally 10 plus 7. 10 plus 8, 18. There it is. 10 plus 9, 19. All they're doing is taking the numbers we learned up here and adding 10. And then we get the number 20, 20. So practice those. Really commit these to memory because these are the base of what we're going to do moving forward. And speaking of moving forward, let's go back now to our numbers from Lesson 1C. These numbers are found in your textbook on page 25, 25, or in French, 25. And let's see how they do these numbers. Écoutez. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Are you seeing the pattern? So we start with 20, which we already learned, and then guess what? 21, 20 and 1. But they don't say 20 and 2, now they just say 22, like we do in English. 22, 23, same thing. 24, same thing. So can you guess what the number for 25 is in French? Did you guess 25? You're right. What about 26? 26. 27? 27? 28? 29? 30. Aha. Now we're adding a new one, but I want to point out to you, it starts with a TR, just like trois, just like 13, 30. So the numbers that have 3 have that similarity. 30 is 30. Guess what 31 is? 31, 32, 33. Oh, that one's a really good one to practice your French R. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Class 40, 40. There it is, 40. It has that quarter beginning to it, related to the number 4. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Oh, that's pretty good. Because 50 has the number 5. 50. 5 plus 50. Guess what 51 is? 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. That one's fun to say. 56, 57, 58, 59. Finally, for this week's lesson, 60. It almost looks like the word 6, doesn't it? For 60, just a little bit off. 60. It's that wa, French sound wa, 60. And I bet you can guess what 61 is, and 62, and 63. The same pattern that we've been following all along. So, that is our lesson for this week. Really work on your numbers this week, class. Practice them over and over again. Memorize that pattern so that you really get good at just using numbers. Numbers are some of the hardest things to manipulate and to work with, so I really want you to practice. And also, I really look forward to seeing you in class because the next time we meet, I'll be able to ask you, "Comment ça va?" And you'll be able to tell me, "Ça va bien, ça va très bien, ça va comme ci comme ça, ça va mal, zut, ça va très mal." Hopefully, it's "ça va très bien." That's what I'll be looking forward to. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you get all of my video updates. And I will see you in class next time. À bientôt et au revoir.